Hey, it's Sam Bearer in the Class Winners Workshop again, and I'm here to ask you, are you suffering from a floppy stick? Now, get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking one of these, gear shift. When you put your car into gear, does it flop around? Does it move to the center, or do you have trouble finding gears? Well, it's a pretty common problem, and it doesn't just happen to old men. It can happen to anybody. And usually it's a pretty simple fix. Like on this 1995 Mitsubishi Pajero Mini VR2. This thing is super cool. It is a 10'10" micro SUV with four-wheel drive and four-wheel drive low range. Totally cool. It's four-cylinder dual overhead cam, 20 valve turbocharged and intercooled. It's like a smaller Suzuki Samurai, but it's more like a pocket rocket. But the problem is when I brought it in here to the workshop, when I put it into gear, it was hard to find which gear I was in, or sometimes I think it was in gear and it wasn't. Oh, hey, so this is actually a good time. Go ahead and click down there, that little blue Class Winners icon. That'll let you subscribe and get our Class Winners Seat of the Pants videos and our workshop videos. You'll get notified when there's something new. And as always, comment, like, give us some feedback. So we did what anybody would do, which is simply take off the gear stick and start looking for bushings. And in this case, we stripped down all the plastic here and took off the knob and so forth, and looked down here, and yeah, the bushing that was on there was pretty worn, so we put a new one on. And literally, this came in a day from Amazon. But one thing I noticed was that even with this bushing in the cup down there, if I put it all back together, it would still wobble, but further up. So I started looking and found that there was this kind of recessed ball area and a recessed ball here too. And one of the things that came in our kit was actually another bushing. So I took this thing and looked at it and said, you know what? We're missing a piece. So all we need to do is put this bushing in here and put it all back together, and it should be fixed. So you might be asking, why? Why would this piece be missing? Well, it's pretty simple. You have to take a transmission out to do a clutch job, and to take the transmission out, you got to take the stick off, and sometimes, well, mechanics forget parts. Especially in this case, a lot of the parts inside here are not in the exploded parts diagram. So this little part isn't listed. So it's possible it fell off, and the mechanic who did the clutch on it, even though this only has 54,000 kilometers, it probably had a clutch job, and the mechanic looked at the parts diagram and forgot that this went back in here. So let's put this in and get it back together and see how it feels. Putting it all back together, it's not rocket science, but it is a little bit fiddly because you got to fit this into the little cup. This has to go in there. All the parts have to be lined up, and then it's all got to be bolted back together. So we're going to do our best to get everything in line here. Okay, so first we've got to go in and light on the subject. Now, as in the old R&B classic by Archie Bell and the Drills, it's time to do the tighten up. Okay, we're done putting it back together, and it was really simple. Again, just a little fiddly because there's a lot of bolts and screws in a tight space, but you know, it was 6 more bolts to put on the top plate, and then 2 screws on the side, and that's pretty much it. And so now we've got the knob back on. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, reverse. Oh, it feels so good. So like in third, yeah, I mean, that's all the play you're supposed to have, and so it feels perfect. So remember, do it yourself. It saves you time of bringing a car down, saves you money, and it's actually pretty fun. And again, the parts, it was like 14 bucks, and I got it in one day on Amazon. So whoever says that Japanese domestic market vehicles, it's hard to get parts, well, Jeff Bezos can be your savior too, because there are a lot of these parts that are shared with domestic vehicles. So just find the part number and do a quick Google search. So goodbye from the workshop. I'm Sam Bear, car guy in chief for Class Winners Collector Vehicles. Till the next time. Cheers.